So when we saw the Reaper like approaching Billy and then he's like spitting crap out of his mouth, not only was I afraid, I was extremely grossed out. Hi guys, my name is Maria Park and this is Approach to Nerd, and in this episode we are reviewing Wynonna Earp season 4, episode 4, entitled Afraid. And every element of this episode lives up to that name. I love that they introduced technically more backstory on what's been going on in purgatory over the last 18 months since Waverly, Wynonna, and Doc were trapped in the garden. A lot has really transpired, and we kind of got a key into what is going on. I'm not going to go verbatim in this episode because I don't want to do a play-by-play, but I will just like tell you the highlights, what I thought was cool. So we're going to start with the introduction of new characters, and the first one being Billy. Billy is a young boy that Rachel has a little crush on, and I guess they meet up and trade items that they find when they go exploring and like hoarding for things. She, you can tell, has a big crush on him. He seems to like her back, but they're in a place where, one, she doesn't know how to say it to him, and two, he's being very secretive. Like, she asked if she can go back to his mom's place, and he says, oh, my mother's very, very strict, don't come. So I guess in Rachel's mind, that clued in green light. And so, she decides to go visit him with Nicole and Waverly. Now, Nicole and Waverly were basically waiting for everyone to do this like presentation on what's going on in the town and yada, yada, yada. And nobody showed up because Wynonna didn't come because she basically was kidnapped by, which we learned to be Black Badge. Black Badge division is back, but they basically took their low-level recruits. Like, we meet a character, I believe her name was Naomi. She was with the Department of Fisheries, and she's like, yeah, they brought me in because basically we don't have anybody else. They're bringing in everyone they can get, like volunteers, whatever. People way over their heads, as Jeremy says, that don't know anything about supernatural or how to fight demons. And so when Wynonna, sees Jeremy, she goes to hug him and he's like, oh yeah, this is Agent, and I think he calls her Arp instead of Earp. And it says, oh, she's an agent. She knows about the supernatural, but she's never killed a demon. And, Wynonna kind of cues in and plays along. But later when they're alone, he explains that these people don't know what they're doing. Like, they are way, way over their head. Now, he does give her this really sweet gun that he says can turn things into guac. So of course Wynonna's playing with it because she's crazy. But he convinces her to go on this like ride along in this truck because all the delivery trucks into purgatory keep getting hijacked by demons and others. And so Wynonna's on a ride along with a driver who does not want to be there, and basically has the gun that Jeremy gave her as leverage against whatever attacks them because she doesn't have Peacemaker. Well, they run over these spikes, and of course the guy runs away. Initially, the person trying to rob the truck is Doc, and he's doing it for his new Demon Club owner boss, Amon, who already told him, this is your money, and you can also basically work for blood, but if you don't deliver, then, you'll be the one that we're draining out of the vial, basically. So there was no real, threat for Wynonna because, it's Doc, and Doc is her bitch. It's true. Even when Amon makes a comment about Wynonna, Doc's like, she's her own woman, but he never says, oh yeah, when he calls Doc out and says, you're Wynonna's boy, and he's like, never says anything, never even corrects it. I'm like, yeah, he's whipped. But anyway, so Wynonna's in the truck with the gun, and she handcuffs herself to, the hall because there's whiskey and food and stuff for purgatory that, Doc was trying to get the alcohol for the club. So he has to go back to his car to get some stuff to cut her out of the handcuffs because she doesn't have the keys. Because the driver that ran off when they ran over the spikes, because he wasn't dying for the cargo, he had the keys. So she's kind of just trapped there. Well, this is when she gets attacked by a Reaper, and I will get to that in a second. So back to Rachel. So Rachel's boyfriend, Billy. I'm calling him boyfriend. Rachel convinces Nicole and Waverly to go with her to Billy's place, which he lives in like a junkyard area. And when they get there, it's already weird. Like, Nicole's already acting weird. She's been acting weird since episode 2 or 3. No, since episode 3. She's been acting very, very strangely. But so they go to the junkyard, and we're introduced to a woman named Margot, who is Billy's mother. Well, she seems to know Nicole. As a matter of fact, when Waverly and Nicole are inside, and Waverly implies that, she's there to find, vintage cutlery, or like big cutlery like a sword. And Margot says, what do you need that for? And of course, Nicole covers with, I'm going to dress up like Shira for Halloween. And then Waverly's like, I would die. But Margot and Nicole's exchange, when Waverly's like kind of taking a phone call from Wynonna to go outside, is they know each other. As a matter of fact, she said, basically Nicole owes her and it's past due. And Nicole is like, stay the hell away from us. So that is a cue into one of the things that I think Nicole is paranoid about this season. But we will get back to that in a second. The phone call that Waverly took was actually right before the Reaper shows up. Wynonna's been getting these rocks with like a symbol on it. It looks like a C, like a cattle brand on it. She at first thought it was Black Badge kidnapping her, and that was like their way of surveilling her, like a beacon or a tracking device. So she gives it to one of the guards. Well, the guard's outside looking at it. He throws it down on the ground, and then something basically decapitates him. Well, when Wynonna's in the truck again, right before the driver runs off and they run over the spikes, she reaches into her pocket, and the rock's in her pocket again. So, even more, she's thinking it's Black Badge. It wasn't until Jeremy was like, well, no, that's got nothing to do with us, That's when she calls Waverly. And so Waverly researches it, and we learn that there is a family historically that the Earp brothers, back in 1879 to like late 1880s, were rivals with, and they are the Clantons. And the gunfight at the OK Corral, Billy Clanton was gunned down by the Earp brothers. And in retaliation, the Earp brothers' Morgan was killed by Ike Clanton. And they kind of went back and forth. They basically, the Clantons, and there's another family, the McClurys, were very big horse thieves, and like they robbed banks, and they did a lot of illegal activities. And the Earp brothers, who are all lawmen, basically were interfering with their business. And so it became a big rivalry. So this is a real thing that happened, historically. So we learned that Margot and also Mayor Cleo and Sheriff Holt are all Clantons. They're all Billy's siblings, and Margot is Billy's mother, or I guess all of their mother. And unlike Wynonna, who was the Earp heir, who had Peacemaker, Margot is the Clanton heir, and I guess she has dark magic. And she is completely opposite of Wynonna. She doesn't care about her family. As a matter of fact, two things happen. Number one, she lets Billy know that he can't be with Rachel because she's an Earp lover, even though she's not connected, and basically threatens to reap her. So now we know that she has the power to send this Reaper type creature after things, which kind of ties into what I said about Wynonna earlier. So Billy's instructions were to tell Rachel they can't be together, or they can't even be friends anymore. So when they go back to the ranch, Waverly is basically researching the symbol, where she finds out that it is from the Clantons. You have Rachel in the barn with Billy, and he is talking to her. And see, Rachel likes to wear Wynonna's stuff, so she has on Wynonna's leather jacket. Well, when she reaches into her pocket, of course, there's a rock there, too, with the branded symbol on it, C for Clanton. Well, Billy sees it, freaks out, and says, no, I want to make this right. You said you wouldn't do anything. And so he takes, these pliers, and he pulls out his tooth, and he basically says he's connected. I think he brings the curse down on himself. He doesn't realize that it's not Rachel. It's actually Wynonna that has been reaped, because Mayor Cleo, kind of pissed off from the last episode with Wynonna, did a blood bond to make the Reaper go after Wynonna. And when Margot finds out, she starts pushing down on the wound that Cleo made, I guess to do the bargain with the Reaper, letting her know who's in charge. So yeah, this is really, really messed up. And so Billy, unfortunately, gets chained up by the Reaper, and you see the Reaper coming up to him, and then the mother's doing all this stuff, basically she doesn't care that her baby boy is about to be Reaper food or whatever he's about to do to him. And he says, I'm not going to kill Rachel, you are. And then the Reaper starts drooling, and it's just disgusting. And then you hear him screaming, you see them all in the house, and you see, Sheriff Holt, Mayor Cleo, and Margot are all in the house, and they call Margot ma'am instead of mom. And you just hear him out there screaming, and I don't know if he's being turned into a Reaper or what the hell is going on. But Margot does say that the Reapers are their ancestors, and then basically that Reaper is their uncle. So I'm thinking it's either Billy Clanton, who got gunned down at the OK Corral, or one of his brothers. But yeah, that is completely messed up. So back to Wynonna in the truck, when the Reaper's going after her, I don't know where the hell Doc went. He went to go get these, some cutters to cut the handcuffs. But I mean, I don't know where his car was. He said it was just a little way up, a little up the ways, but he was gone a long time. But the Reaper manages to swipe at her, and it breaks her chain, and so she goes running off. So she's trapped in between the pillows. She can't get through, and you see like the Reaper coming towards her. It was terrifying, actually. It actually was. I see why they named the episode Afraid. Fortunately, Doc being a vampire, he's a demon, so he was able to come right through the barrier, and then he kicked one of the barriers. Well, first she had him try to shoot it, because if you're not marked, you can't see it. So she's directing him where to shoot it, and he shoots it, and it goes down, but then it gets back up because, it's not Peacemaker. So he kicks one of the pillars, the rock pillars down, and they go run off. And then when Billy made that sacrifice, the Reaper kind of went away anyway. It wasn't attacking her anymore. So that's why I think that he marked himself in place of what he thought he was taking Rachel's place, because he really likes her. And it's so sad, Rachel's kind of like, I want to go save my boyfriend, and I feel really bad for her. But yeah, so that's the Reaper business. We did learn that Robin is safe. I've been wondering since the premiere what happened to Robin, because Robin was at the dinner party and was drugged too by Wynonna. So I didn't know where he was, or, how he got where he was. I'm assuming that the Black Badge Division is who took Jeremy, because Jeremy was taken, and we saw him being taken, pretty drastically. But considering who was running it now, it didn't seem like, well, I say that, honestly. There was a comment made by the new girl, and I still think her name is Naomi. She said, if you think demons are bad, you haven't met upper management. So quite frankly, we don't know who the upper management is, how they're being funded. For all we know, it could be funded by Amon and the other demons. We have no idea. And I really want to know where Kate is, because Kate was on that train. I want to know where that train brought her to, and what the plan is with her. Is she with upper management, Black Badge? there are so many questions. But what I've got out of this episode is our team is together again, but royally screwed, because there's no Peacemaker. They've got a Reaper, or Reapers, plural now. They have a Canton family who completely hates the Earps, aka Wynonna. We have Nicole, who at the end of this episode went back to Margot with a jar of her hair and said, our deal is over. They got out of the garden themselves. So I guess she did some dark magic, or maybe she promised her soul. I don't know what she promised. But she tried to renege on this deal, and so Margot opens the jar with her hair in it, and like this locust things start flying around, and they fly into her. And we all know that whenever anything like that happens in a series like this, that you're SOL. So I don't know what's going to happen with that. So I'm really worried about Nicole in the next episode. But we do know that there's dark magic. So dark magic in the Cantons with the Reapers. Eve is running around somewhere, and we don't know who's running the Black Badge Division, but they apparently are worse than the demons. And then we have Amon, who basically has told Doc if he doesn't deliver on their deal, he's going to take him out. So a lot of villains, potential villains, or antagonists in this in season 4 of Wynonna. So this is not a good time for Wynonna not to have Peacemaker. And I find it really sad. I'm sad for her, because the part where she was like looking at the Reaper coming and she was screaming, she did a really good job. Her actress did a very good job of portraying that fear, because I felt scared for her. And so, yeah, this season is going very well for me. I am very excited for the next episode. And I just want to know where we're going from here, because I got questions. But yeah, one thing's for sure, this season's about to get a lot darker. And so I am excited for it. And some funny takeaways. I loved the Shira line, Waverly reacting to that. She's like, oh my God, please be Shira for Halloween. I love the guacamole references with the gun. I really love that Doc is like, even when he goes to save Wynonna, he's like, I'm here, my love. And I'm like, ah! So there's so many, I love the dialogue between them. So many really cute moments and really funny moments and very sweet moments. And I really loved when, number one, Rachel walked in on Waverly and Nicole making out. Then she walked in on them naked on the floor. And then she kind of ran off from them. And Waverly's like, nobody wants to be seen with their, was it teenagers? Nobody wants to be seen with their hot gay aunts. So it's just, this show, I love this show. I love it. Proud to be an Earper, but I want to know what you guys think, so please leave me a comment below and let me know. And if you would like to sign up for Jury Duty, hit the subscribe button. If you'd like to know who's next on the Nerd Bell, hit the notification bell. Until next time, I can't wait for you to approach the nerd. Bye, guys.
Thank you for watching my video. I really appreciate it, but hey, the party doesn't have to stop now. Click on one of these videos and keep it going.